Hello. I need to talk about a couple of things. First of all, something that's totally not book related. I need to tell you that I'm in mourning for my spider baby, Spider-Man, because Sony and Disney could not come to agreement about how they want to release their movies, and so my Spider-Man, my spider baby, my first comic book love, will apparently, reportedly, no longer be in future MCU movies after the next two. I mean, that's what it seems like. And it makes me really sad because I really loved that he was home and they were doing such a good job with things. I love the new Spider-Man movies. No disrespect to Spider-Man 2. I love you, baby. But I'm just really sad about it. And also I'm really disappointed in myself because I'm a fake fan and I could only find one Spider-Man t-shirt. I need more. That's what I learned. I need more Spider-Man things. I'm wearing my Venom t-shirt and my Not Today necklace in honor of it. So hopefully we can all be friends and my Spider-Man baby can come home. And I just want Sony to stop doing him dirty. I know people really like the Andrew Garfield movies, but I'm a huge comic book fan and I just felt like it wasn't a great portrayal of Peter Parker. Maybe because I'm more used to him in his college years than his high school years, but that's just me. Anyway, moving on to more. This isn't really a review, it's more of a I need to talk about this, and I will give you a review and a little warning of spoilers. But I just picked up, and I think I said it in my book haul, House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. and it's loosely based on the 12 Dancing Princesses folktale, and yeah, I devoured it. I think I read it in a couple of days, but I need to talk about this. Anyway, so a little background. It's about this girl named Annalie, her and her many sisters. I feel like it's 12 particularly, but there's just a lot of math, and I don't do math, okay? I know it's based on 12 Dancing Princesses, and I just sound more like a dummy, but anyway, math is hard, and this book confused me, and we'll get into it. Hang on. This girl named Annalie lives a very sheltered life in a place called Highmore, and that's her giant-ass manor, and they live by the sea and a bunch of islands, and these islands, her country is not based in a real place, but the ideas are. She lives there with her mother and her stepmother, and when you start the story, they're burying her fourth eldest sister, who was found smashed completely at the bottom of a cliff. The other sisters have passed away from a plague, a fall from a ladder, and a drowning, and at this last one, things are starting to seem a little bit. She started to notice something isn't right because this is all happening in like a short amount of time. And also her youngest sister is starting to see horrific visions, and Annalie is beginning to see them herself. So because they're supposed to be in mourning, they have to wear black all the time, and since the deaths have been so close together, beginning with their actual mother and then now these four sisters, the normal custom is to stay in black for a year. And so since this keeps happening, or 6 months, something like that, I just know they've been in mourning for years. And so the girls are really tired of it, and Annalie and the fifth oldest sister, the now eldest sister, Camille, like, they're getting older. I believe Camille's 19, Annalie's 16, and they're supposed to be looking for husbands and thinking about getting married and all this stuff, but everybody in the town believes that they're cursed. So nobody really wants to marry somebody they believe that is cursed, even if they are the richest family in town. So they discover a way to sneak out every night and attend different balls. And so Annalie starts to become suspicious. She's like, I don't really know if this is all such a good idea. And then she becomes involved with this random ass stranger that she meets at one of the docks. And it's basically just like a mystery, and there's a lot of intrigue, and there's a mild romance that is not driving the plot, which I really love. It's very rich in detail, very rich in detail, and it definitely kept me interested and intrigued, which is why I finished it so quickly. But I did end up giving the book 3.5 stars out of 5 for the detail, and I don't even know if I want to keep it because I don't know if I'm ever going to reread it again. But I do recommend it to other people who like this kind of thing. And this is where the spoilers come in, and this is where I spill the salt and the tea. Apparently, this is a thing that I didn't know about, that like things, like if there's like a horror romance genre starting to pop up. And I mean, I've read a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, and I know that when you read books about war, or like the book Wilder Girls, which was called a feminist Lord of the Flies, I was expecting, you know, some gore. I can deal with gore. And you detail that, of course. I mean, you're going to describe it. But when you start going on for a while, and then it keeps popping up, and there's just like pages and pages of it, that's where I'm like, this is a big yikes. Like, I can't handle it. And I love some scary movies. I don't love others. But this just was like so graphic and gory to me, and I was not anticipating that. And I just kind of feel like there was a warning for wusses like me that was in here. I would have definitely not picked it up. But so for people who don't know about the 12 Dancing Princesses, the folklore is about 12 girls who are sneaking out at night to go dancing at different balls because they do what they want and they're selfish and annoying. And that's pretty much the basis of it. It changes from country to country. But I definitely got the feel of that with the eldest sister, Camille. And you start to suspect who might be behind all the murders. And my first thought was their stepmother, because they bring her up first, and she announces her pregnancy at the latest sister's wake. Like, they put her sister in the ground. Oh my goodness, what was her name? I cannot remember. It's Ulele, maybe, I don't know. But they literally just put her into the ocean because they don't bury people here. They return to the salt, hence the house of salt and sorrows. The sorrows is everybody's dying. The salt is a reference to their country's religion and everything. They literally just returned her to the salt, and then their stepmother Morella is like, hey, guess what? I'm pregnant. And I was like, she did it. And that was maybe the first few pages in. And naturally, it's always the stepmother. And then the further I got into it, I was like, oh, it could be Annalie's love interest, or it could be their uncle who was supposed to marry their aunt before she tragically died. And so, I mean, there's a few suspects, but mostly the whole running question was who killed these girls. And even by the end, you find out that the sister, whose name I can't pronounce, she was the only one who was murdered, aside from a couple of others that happened in the book. Spoiler, not all the girls make it out alive. And it's sad. It's really sad. And, I mean, that's in the title, Sorrows. If you're not expecting some sadness, pick up the book House of Puppies and Cookies. Then, you know, that would be a really cute book. A picture book of puppies and little cups, like, next to cookies. Okay, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Hold on. Thank you. The hard thing about having a lot of cats is they're like boxes. Let's jump in them, even when they're closed. So, if you heard scratching in the background, I literally didn't notice until I looked over and saw Kitty Bennett trying to get into a box that I need to mail out. Anyway, coming back. There was, like, that was basically the running thing. The other side things were, are the girls actually going to balls? Is there some mythical other thing going on? Another thing that wasn't super clear until I got maybe midway through the book was that all the gods that they worship in this book and their religion are actually real gods. Like, they were talking about Pontus, who is the one they worship on the island that they're on of the salt, and he's basically their King Poseidon in that aspect. And he's a real person. Like, he comes and hangs out and stuff. And they were talking about his daughter, like, coming into the dressmaker shop. And I was like, is that like a blessing, or is she really going to the shop? And the way it was written, it wasn't super clear. Maybe I just have depression fog brain, or maybe I'm just dumb, but that wasn't super clear. And so if I had that factored into the beginning, the list of suspects would have been so much wider. But in the end, I mean, everything gets solved. It's still a little foggy and really horrific. But, I mean, as far as I knew, the first three girls who passed away, Ava, Octavia, and Elizabeth, were all accidents. And, I mean, the first one, Ava, she had the plague. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not something you can really, unless, you know, one of the gods came in and was like doing his little god magic. I don't know how they do it. That's totally how they do it. The second one was Octavia. She fell from a ladder in the library, and like, okay, that could be an accident, but she could also have been pushed. And then Elizabeth, the last one, was found drowned in the bathtub. So they said that she did that herself, which I was like, I don't think so. But they didn't really explain that in the book, so I'm just going to assume that the plague, you know what, I'm doing this in my head. My headcanon is that Ava's plague gave the killer the idea, hey, maybe I should curse them with stuff so that way they could all die and suffer. I mean, these girls, I don't know about the first four. These girls are not terrible people, and I mean, it's totally okay for them to want things, especially even though they're rich. Like, they just want to be loved and cared for and paid attention to, and they want to fit in their society, and that's also normal, especially in this setting in the book. But I don't know, it just, I tore through it, and I'm just not satisfied with the ending. I'm not satisfied with the answers. I still have a few questions, and I want Erin to give me the answers. So I also thought maybe this might lead into a series, but I'm also down for a one-shot. This book is also very beautiful. I might just keep it because of that. Because look at this. This is so pretty. And then on the cover, I don't know if you can see it, it's a little octopus. And that is the Thomas octopus. That's the family's last name, Thomas. And then on the inside here, it's all these fun little sea creatures. So, and masks. Yeah. So if you're in for a YA horror romance that is very detailed and maybe a little bit confusing, read this. So, I mean, maybe you read it and you thought something completely different. So I would really like to hear other people's responses, because this is just, oh, ow, ow, that really hurt. Oh, man. Can you? I hate you so much. Okay, well, you're just gonna, that's my thumb. Okay. If you have any different thoughts, I would love to hear it. I definitely want to know what other people think of this book, since it's newer. I also need to really catch up on my reading. I should be reading books as they come out, not months and months later. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully this video will be edited, or you will see me you'll see my floor, and you'll see where I film and everything that's messy. Welcome to my life. Anyway, make those choices. Good ones, I hope. Good or bad, Sony. Make those good choices, okay? Because I need Spider-Man. I just literally love him. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.